Let me just open the bar. Okay, so my name is Priyanku. You guys can call me PK. And this is generative AI, right? So there must be a lot of you who must be interested in creating content with AI, right? So I professionally work with generative AI to create films and ads and marketing material and anything of sorts that has to do anything with the media, right? Um, so yeah, let's get started. Like Om said, or how he pointed out that we are this session is going to be kind of long. It's around 90 minutes long, and we are going to cover a lot. I'm gonna teach you. I'm gonna show you the workflow, the entire workflow on which using AI you can create content, you can create ads, you can create short stories, you can create narratives, you can create print ads, everything. I'm gonna show you the basic workflow that it takes to create anything with generative AI, right? You guys must have seen there's a lot of content floating online that is made with AI that is virtually indistinguishable now from real things, and everything is supposed to be labeled made with AI and stuff like that. So we're going to learn how to make all of that stuff. A lot of you might be familiar with some of the tools I'm going to teach you. Whether you're a beginner, or you're an intermediate, or you're an expert, there's always something to share. So let's dive in. Like I said, there's a lot of things we'll cover, so make sure you take your notes. Any questions that you have? So in the middle of the sessions, we will do small Q&As, but towards the end of the session, we will have a proper back and forth in terms of whatever confusion or whatever pointers you guys may have. So yeah, be ready to absorb, learn, and it's going to be a fun session. Yeah? Okay. Moving on, everything that you see on the presentation itself, everything is AI generated. Yeah. There's going to be one image that I'll tell you later, which is not AI generated. Yeah. So this is what we are going to be playing today, but I won't play it from here. I'll play it straight from my Premiere so you guys can see it on the big screen. Yeah, this is a spec ad that I made for Jaguar. And today, you guys probably must have seen this. If you have not, then let's watch it again. But I'm going to be doing the entire workflow of basically how I ended up creating this, right? Let's watch. Sorry, the screen froze. Yeah, so all of it that you saw on your screen is basically made with AI. And today we are going to take a deep dive in how I ended up making this, right? Right from how to conceive the idea, how to go about the idea, how to put together like a script, and everything by using AI, right? And putting together a script, turning that script into images, and then finally turning those images into video. Yeah. Okay, so let's get started. Before we get there, let me quickly introduce myself. Like Om said, I am a cinematographer, which in the loose terms is somebody who films, who's a camera person. I spent like a decade in Mumbai, which is the heart of media production in India. I did everything from web series to films to ads, and mostly ads. Okay, so I am mostly from an advertising background, and my journey with AI started from something called Faction. Okay, 2.5, 3 years back, I was working on this film called Faction. And when we have to pitch a film, we need to make some kind of a presentation, right? So when I was trying to put together images for my presentation, I could not find any images, for that matter, that suited my film. That time, something was around called Midjourney. And Midjourney has just come out. Today, we'll be taking a deep dive into Midjourney, right? It's one of my favorite AI, like generative AI platforms out there. So Midjourney was out, and I downloaded Midjourney, and for the first time, I typed a prompt and I made these images, and that was the starting point for the rest of my life. I would say that way, because that absolutely changed how I perceived generative AI and what I think the potential for this technology is. Okay, so as soon as I started using AI, I started because, of course, I come from a media background, and I come from art background. So I started creating like a lot of images in AI. So specifically for stuff in India, right? So India has a huge anime fan base, but we don't have cartoons or anything that are made in India. So I'm a huge fan of Studio Ghibli. Like Studio Ghibli right now is going viral because of ChatGPT, but it's like I was a fan of Studio Ghibli, and I try to make Bombay in Studio Ghibli. Like I reimagine the city of Mumbai if it was an anime universe, right? I did some reels that were around like, how Indian historic cities must have been like back in the day, like 5,000, 10,000 years earlier. Western history has a lot of pictorial elements, like a lot of images that's preserved and stuff like that. Indian history doesn't. Uh, so this sort of content like really blew up, and this was just when AI was just coming around, right? Uh, so my account, which was like just a normal account, like just below 1,000 people, it went to like 10,000 in a matter of 4 months, right? The content that I was doing with AI was going viral every time. I did some 10 reels, out of which I must have gathered around 20 million views from just 10 pieces of content. So, which was insane. Like, I did not see this kind of traction anywhere, right? And as I was doing this, a lot of the people that I had worked with previously in advertising started getting in touch with me and asking me, like, okay, how do I adapt AI for my business? So I started my studio. Today, it's been like 2 years we've been there, and it was called Summer AI when we first started, still called Summer AI. Uh, with Summer AI, we aim to do like anything AI, right, in terms of the media field. Let me show you two quick pieces of work. This is actually one of our first ad campaigns. Okay, so at this point of time, AI images were getting really good. This must have been like a year back, and AI images were getting seriously good. So everybody was like, "Can we do print advertising with AI?" So, for example, if there are those of you who deal with marketing and who deal with like ad production on a daily basis, or you have to do like, it doesn't matter if you're a business owner and you need to do like a flyer for your business. A lot of those things can be now solved using AI. So this, what you see in front of you, is a complete campaign that was done completely using AI, right? And this is for a footwear brand called Woodland, quite popular in India. This actually, what I'm going to play for you now is the very first ad we ever made with AI. Okay, and this was really, really special to us. It took us like 4 months to actually do just this less than a minute ad. But at the time, AI was not as developed as it is today, which we will explore now. But have a look, and this is where we first started. And the ad that you saw of the Jaguar is something like the kind of work we are doing now. So let me play this for you, and then maybe we can chat about it.
Nature holds many a treasure and will lure you to come find them. Some days it will play captain, guiding you through. Some days it plays the storm you want to steer clear of. Some days it will welcome you with surprises, with the urge to do it all over again. Nicobar, pour yourself a journey.
Yeah, give me a thumbs up if you actually like that. Basically, this is for a gin called Nicobar, and Nicobar is like this really small brand, right? And they are like a artisanal gin that's made with like these brilliant exotic spices from around India and stuff like that. And this was a really exciting piece of work for us because the the owner of the brand just came to us and he said, "This is my bottle of gin, and can you make an ad for it?" So, in the typical sense of the word, like we asked him, like, "What do you want your gin to say?" And he said that this is like this really exotic gin that we have taken a lot of pain to get the spices together, and it's like exploratory in nature. Like, it's about the spirit of exploration. So we thought, yeah, now we have AI, so we can literally do anything. Like, so we thought, okay, why not put some men in a boat who are explorers who go around the world like looking for this gin, right? So this was one of our first concepts, but the moment we did this, we kind of realized like, okay, this AI space is going to be much bigger than what it is today. And this sort of led the way for us to do like a lot of other work, right? But so that's my point. I basically just want to put this point across that with AI now, your imagination is just the limit. If I were to be given the same brief saying that this is a gin, can you make an ad? What I would have done is, hired a studio, did some fancy product shoots and put some spices together, did some brilliant like cinematic shots of that and put an ad together, right? But because of AI now, like whatever you dream, you can sort of make, right? A lot of you are there. I'm sure, like I can bet on this, that a lot of you out there have had stories to tell. You've thought about stories and content that you've ever wanted to make. But the process of getting that done, the process of actually making that content uh, is first thing is requires a lot of technical expertise. The second bit is you really need to yeah, like there's like somebody just said storyboarding is a drag, like 100%. Like, you get to storyboards, you go back and forth at it. What if you could just create your final frames and you could just experiment with frames? So that's what we'll do today. We'll see how the media storytelling atmosphere is changing and how we can sort of adapt these things and, make films that, really tell stories that we want to say, right? And not get tangled up with the technicalities and the monetary aspect of it, right? And not let that limit us. So before we do anything, right, all this technology is fine, but I really want to understand if you guys can name what do you think AI is not in control of, okay? All of it can make the images, it can write the script for you, it can put the videos together for you, it can make the videos for you. But what do you think AI is fundamentally not in control of? Like, what is that one thing that, is sort of not just there? Yeah. Yeah, creativity. I think there's already like emotions, human touch, exactly. uh Concepts, judgment, physical, yeah, empathy, yeah, initial conception, absolutely. Like, yeah, that's my point. You guys already understand this, that uh the conception of the idea is very, very important. Like, it's so important. To storytelling is human, okay? No matter what you say, uh what is a good story? Why does a story resonate with you? A story resonates with you because you can identify with the story. You can feel something when you watch that story because maybe you have been in the same situation or you have known someone who's feeling the same thing. But basically, what storytelling is, it's very human. Content is very, very human. Like today, whatever the short form content is happening on Instagram or the new films that are coming out, ultimately technicalities is fine, making the images and making the videos and all of that is fine, but ultimately what really matters is basically the initial conceptual idea, and that is what defines what kind of storyteller you are. So the best analogy for this is, imagine that after you do this session and you're going to know everything about it, about what it takes to sort of make content with AI. Make sure that you treat this as like a car where you are in the driving seat and all these apps are basically your passengers, but you always control, where the car goes. Yeah. With that said, let's come to storytelling and creative imagination with AI, right? But before we do that, I want to take you through this slide that is like one of my favorite slides. Okay, so this is something I do when a new version of AI comes out, which is like every 3 months, like there is a new version of some app that has come into the next generation or whatever. So what I do every time a new version of Midjourney. Okay, so let's put it this way. You guys must have learned about ChatGPT and Claude and stuff like that this morning, right? What Midjourney is basically the ChatGPT for images. Just think about it like that. ChatGPT was the AI moment that the world understood LLMs, or these large language models, and it was not that other language models were not there, but ChatGPT was the one that led the world towards like, okay, AI is here. So like that, Midjourney is the one that sort of said, okay, images are here. Like, they are the leaders in image creation. So this slide that you see is Midjourney trying to create an apple in all of its versions. Okay, this is Midjourney version 1, version 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So why I do this is because every time a new version of Midjourney comes out, I just go to Midjourney, I type this prompt called an apple. An apple sounds like a very simple prompt, but actually it's a very difficult one. I'll tell you why. Because when you say an apple, right, you are just defining what is the subject. You are not saying where is the apple, what season is it, is it night or day, or is it interior, out, exterior. You're not giving it any more information. So it's very much up to the diffusion model to sort of understand and process what you are wanting to create. So in Midjourney version 1, when I typed an apple, you can see like it basically just understood what's the color of an apple, maybe like in some sort of a painting style, but the shape is gone. Version 2, some kind of an apple is there, but nothing path breaking, right? Version 3 was absolutely nuts. It was like one of the craziest versions ever, and it made a pomegranate instead of an apple for some reason. I don't know if this is a half egg or something like that. Version 4 is where literally everything changed overnight. Okay. The difference between version 3 and version 4 must be like 4.5, 5 months, maybe, if I'm not wrong. But you can see like where this was and what this became, right? So version 4 was about when we started Samurai, because this is when image creation got good to a level where it could be used in advertising. Like it could be actually put out into the world, and people will not suspect if it's a AI generated image or a real image, right? Version 5 got super good. Version 5 got like really good with lighting and all. Version 6 is the most realistic version, and now we have version 7. So today I'm going to be showing you guys version 6.1, which was the latest version. Version 7 just came out on the 4th. It's still going back and forth with it. It's not stable enough yet, but I think 6.1 is fab. Okay. With that said, this is all the tools that I'll be using today. You can take a screenshot of this if you want, but these are tools that I use in general for everything, right? So Claude AI and ChatGPT are the two large language models I use to do my script writing and all of that kind of stuff, to do my research and all of that. Midjourney is what we'll be doing the images on. Let's AI is not something I use anymore. Luma Labs is basically Luma Labs and Runway ML. They both are image to video as well as text to video creation tools. You can do both the things. You can put in some text and you can get some video out of it, or you can put an image and basically these platforms will animate that images into a video. Okay, so I'll be showing you how to use both. Premiere Pro is what I've edited my video on, but not necessary. You can edit your content on whatever you're comfortable with. It could be straight on Instagram, like doesn't really matter, right? Whatever you're comfortable with. Topaz AI is basically, Topaz AI and Magnific are something which are not talked about as much, but are very, very important. They are basically upscalers. Upscalers are something that, when you are working with these AI models, right, the images that you get, they are not very high resolution images. Okay, they like the moment you stretch them and you blow them up, you will be able to see pixelation, and it's going to get all pixelated and stuff. So we need to use certain tools called upscalers, which basically make your image larger. It makes your image like more vivid and dynamic, and it increases its resolution. So I'll be showing you how to do that. 11 Labs I'll touch upon right at the end, although we are not using 11 Labs in the video I showed you, but I just want to show it to you. I don't know if a lot of you are familiar with 11 Labs, but it's basically the best text to audio creation tool. So if you want to create voiceovers, if you want to create like sound clips or narration, anything like that, you can use 11 Labs. Okay, we'll touch on it right at the end. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so to create a compelling story, you basically need great ideas, right? For example, if a client comes to me tomorrow who has an amusement park, and let's say in that amusement park, he has a go-karting track. So he comes to me and he says, PK, I need you to make me a small promo for my go-karting track. It's not really doing well. I want to attract more younger customers to come in and try my track. Once I receive this brief, it's very, very important for me to have either gone go-karting at some point of time in my life, or to have actually gone ahead and seen a go-karting race or a go-karting track or witness people doing this activity, right? Because whatever we write as humans, we need to have context of that when we write. For example, if you're writing about war, then you need some context about the war. For example, if you're writing a cookbook, then the most basic thing is you should know how to cook the things you're writing about, right? So basically what I'm trying to say is you cannot, before this in human civilization, there was no way for you to like gain instant knowledge on anything. You could do a Google search, but all it gave you was a bunch of articles that you had to decipher by yourself, right? So using your imagination is basically the way how everything is done. Now, people will say that with the new age, you should use AI to imagine. But the ultimate goal is that use imagination is not the new way. Use AI to imagine is not the new way. The best way is you use your imagination, but you use AI to imagine. Basically, let your imagination spark the thought, but you can help AI develop it. Coming back to my go-karting example, if, for example, I were to receive this brief, I can straight on go to ChatGPT. I can say, hey, I've got this brief that I need to work on for a go karting track. I've never gone go karting. Can you tell me what go karting is all about? Tell me some famous events. Tell me what the common cool language in go karting is, what the words are. So imagine with AI, it's like for $20 a month, if you're on the ChatGPT subscription, it's like having the smartest assistant in the world. If you're a business owner and you want to hire like four people who do four different things, now you can hire like one, you can get like one ChatGPT subscription for $20. That probably is smarter than all the four people combined together. So that's how AI has changed the game. And we'll see how we are going to use this to make our content, right? Um, so something that I always say whenever you're trying to do any kind of AI content, right? It's very easy to get lost in AI. And I'll tell you why. You will see when we go to Midjourney, right? The moment you type a prompt, it throws such good images at you. It's very easy to get confused and lost in terms of what you wanted to say, where you started off, and where you are, right? So you need to have a very clear objective. So here, before we get into our LLMs and start discussing how we go about like doing the script, let's talk about a very important thing called thinking AI. If there are people who create content here, if there's anybody from marketing or advertising, like do give a thumbs up. What thinking AI is basically understanding what you can do with AI. Just think about it like this, okay? I'll give you a very personal example. Uh, I was in film school. This must be like a decade ago, right? When I was in film school, I was not one of those kids that could afford like the best cameras and the lights and all that kind of stuff. I had friends who had like all of this equipment. Uh, the thing with me is I really liked to make like very nice. I was very attracted to advertising from a really young age. So I really like to shoot like very good looking product videos. Like you see on Instagram and stuff, somebody will take like a watch and do like very cool videos and stuff like that. I always wanted to do those kind of things. What prevented me is that I used to use my phone, make some makeshift life, go to the electrician, buy some bulbs, put everything together at home, and try to film all these things. But the results would never come out like great because first of all, whenever you had to do anything with the media, right, there is a certain monetary investment that has to take place. So because I didn't have a camera, I couldn't get that kind of quality. Even if I had the skill, I couldn't get that quality is because I didn't have the technical equipment with me. Now with AI, imagine removing all of the technical jargon aside. I'm not saying that there won't be cameras, there won't be shooting, there will be. But I think AI is a new medium altogether. Most people confuse it with benchmarking it against the camera and saying that, okay, this looks so real, like AI is gonna kill cinema, is gonna kill. I don't think this is gonna happen. Like the printing press did not kill the painter, the like so many rhetorical examples like that. But I think AI is a new creative medium altogether. The best example I will give you about thinking AI is Nicobar. Nicobar is a small brand. They don't have a huge marketing budget, but the stories they want to say is out of the world, right? If it were in the normal medium, you couldn't have told these stories. If today you are on this call and you want to say a story, but you do not have media experience, you do not know how to write a script, you don't know how to handle a camera, go out into the world and shoot and put the footage together to tell a story, no problem. AI is going to help you do that. Okay. With that said, let's proceed. This is a new medium. That's why I say that at first you've got to unlearn everything you know to learn generative AI, right? Okay, let's get into the commercial today. Let's talk about how I went. Now, why I'm doing the Jaguar F-Pace as a commercial here is because although I am giving you my commercials breakdown, but the workflow that I'm sharing with you can be adapted to anything. You want to do a PSA, you want to do a service announcement, you want to do a small promo, you want to do a YouTube video, faceless YouTube video, whatever you want to do. The same workflow can be adapted to anything. Okay. So these are some basic questions that I use in my advertising jargon. Okay. So before I do an ad, and I'm just, like I said, I'm going to take the treatment of an ad, I'd like to see what is my product. I like to see how does the brand sort of communicate the product. I like to see what are the color schemes and visual languages that are associated with the product so that when I make the film, it makes sense. And most importantly, I ask, how can I leverage AI to tell the story? So, for example, you want to do a small reel about how bad how bad plastic waste is for the ocean. First of all, you've got to understand what is plastic waste. The second thing, you've got to understand that how big is it of a problem to the ocean, like in terms of the all the problems the ocean has, how big is plastic waste as a problem. What are the kind of other films that plastic people have done around plastic waste, right? So basically, all this research is required before you even attempt a story. This is also where the large language model is going to come in. Okay, before we go uh, to the LLM and actually start prompting, I want to show you that when I started my Jaguar ad, right, when I went about the process of wanting to make this ad, at first I wanted to look at what the brand has made. So this is the ad that the brand made for the Jaguar F-Pace. Okay, I'm just going to play this ad for you. Yeah. So when I saw this ad, I was like, I'm a big fan of Jaguar, or at least I was before they rebranded and stuff. I don't know if you guys have seen the rebranding. I don't know if you guys actually like it. I personally was not a fan of it. But when I saw this, I was like, okay, wait a second. Jaguar is supposed to be like all about the driving thrill and the adrenaline rush about driving this car. And in this ad, I could hardly like see the car. I saw some fancy woman walking down, getting into a car and driving out at night. So I thought, okay, I'm going to make an ad where the car is, where everything about this is going to be the opposite. Okay. So if the car here is blue, my ad should be red. If you can see only like the city here, my ad should be based like in off road and in beautiful roads and outside of the city and whatever. I wanted a lot of driving shots and stuff like that. So I thought, okay, that's like a great idea about going about this. Yeah. Uh, Personally, the rebranding is the dumbest thing I've seen in the advertising world. I don't know how it's going to age, but I feel like it's going to age like the Apple iPad ad, like at some point of time. I don't know if you guys remember that also. Okay. Now, with any story that you do, right, you have to build a hook. Okay. A very, very important thing is a hook. Okay. For example, my hook was build your own. If you notice, when I played my video, the first thing when I play my video, you see the website gets logged in, and then you see my cursor going to this thing called build your own. So basically, I'm just going to open the website for you guys, and I'm going to show you actually this is what actually happened here. So I went to this, I saw the stable car. I pressed on the vehicles, and this is what caught my eye was the F-Pace, right? And this is what really caught my attention. It was this build your own. So I was trying to figure out a way where I can transition into my AI ad. Uh, I just didn't want to start on an AI car image. So I thought, okay, this is a great way. So this build your own became my idea. So at this point of time, I just had like, you remember what we spoke about, like having the seed. So basically by this time I had the seed. The seed for me was, I'm going to go into the Jaguar website. I'm going to press on build your own, and I'm going to make it, and this is supposed to transition into some sort of a car forming together. And after that, I want like cinematic driving shots of the car going around. So that's all I knew. I didn't know what was the script going to be, where the car was going to be, how is it going to start. So all of that we will do using AI. So once you have a basic idea about what you want to do, for example, the counter example that I'm giving here of say plastic waste for the ocean. So you need to figure out your hook, and your hook can be like a very basic question saying something like, do you really care about something that's going to destroy the world in 100 years? So once you identify your hook can be like a very key piece of information or whichever it is. Like, there are many sources on the internet that'll tell you like 10 different definitions for a hook, but ultimately a hook is something that grabs attention. So once you have figured out your hook, you've basically figured out your idea. From here on onwards, everything is going to be on autopilot. Okay. This is the max amount of um, struggle you will have. After this, everything is going to be about you approving or disapproving. Okay. What I mean by that is, if we go to a slide now, okay, if build your own becomes my hook, I'm going to do these following things now using ChatGPT and Claude. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do that. Take a screenshot of this if you want. I'm going to first identify how to leverage AI. Okay, I'm going to create and identify an interesting story flow, everything using AI. Okay, I'm going to create the basic structure of what my content is going to be. I'm going to do a very detailed breakdown of that structure. Okay, when I say a detailed breakdown of that structure, for example, the structure will tell me, okay, your screen will start with going to the Jaguar website. Then we will come to this build your own thing. You will click on it. You will say, go to this world where a car is being assembled. After the car being assembled, you will go outdoors. So that is the structure. The breakdown of that structure will tell me in the first sequence, these are the images you need to create and stuff like that. I'll show you when it happens, okay? This is very, very important, guys. Iterate until we are happy. For me, iteration is a very important part of the process. Whenever you're using any sort of generative AI, make sure you iterate, because this will give you the best possible result. Do not go with the first thing that comes to you, although sometimes that's the best thing to go with, but mostly I iterate a lot. I will also show you how to develop a view using the platform itself, and we will do a short breakdown. Yeah, a short breakdown is basically what are the list of images we need to create to make our entire content. Okay, so initial jamming. Okay? Initial jamming is nothing but brainstorming. Now, a lot of the question I get is basically, why do I use two LLMs? I'm telling you, whatever I'm going to do can solely also happen inside ChatGPT. You don't need to go to Claude. And whatever I'm going to do can also happen inside of Claude. You don't need to go to ChatGPT. I personally think of LLMs as people. Okay. If you have two people, right? I think ChatGPT, if you look at them as people who work in your workplace or whatever, ChatGPT, I will say, is a very good researcher and analyst. He is a very good researcher. He is very good at researching, finding facts, developing like workflows and stuff like that. Claude, on the other hand, I find Claude to be very, very creative. Claude, on a number of benchmarks, scores much higher than ChatGPT in terms of a lot of creative writing. You do a small test, okay? For example, take a topic like, say, a pink coconut tree growing in Antarctica. Take a very offbeat sort of topic. Go to these LLMs, and if you want to judge them on how creative they are, go to them, give them the same prompt and say, write me a 10-line poem that is about this pink coconut tree that grows in Antarctica. You will see that these models will write very, very different kind of answers. And whenever I've done this sort of an experiment, Claude 99% of the time has given me the most creative answer. So for all my research and my data collection, I use ChatGPT. For all of my writing, I use Claude. Okay, that's exactly how I divide it. Let's jump into ChatGPT, and we'll take it from there. Okay. Okay. So yeah. So what is the first thing you do? Okay, write in the chat. What is the first thing that you do when you start a project or when you start a ChatGPT conversation? I don't know how many of you use ChatGPT on a daily basis, or you must have started today. But what would be the first step before actually act as a? Okay, any more suggestions? Leonard has said act as a. That's actually quite a frequent conversation starter. Proper prompt, create. Okay. Give it a job, have a job, describe who I am, assign a role. Hey, chat. Hey, somebody finally got a right answer. The first thing you do when you enter ChatGPT is you say hey. Okay. Look at this. Say hello. That is correct. You don't come into work and just say, hey, today you're gonna give me a ride. You don't do that. Okay. So look, this is how my ChatGPT responds. Make sure that you customize your bots. ChatGPT has a customize function. Make sure you always turn that on because it understands your personality, right? So my chat GPT says, yo, what's up, bro? So we go bro the whole day, that's how we talk. Anyways, so the first thing you say is hi. After this, now very, very important. Mm, how do you turn it on? Yeah. So ask ChatGPT how to turn that function off. That's task number one. Okay. Okay, let's start. So before you do anything, after you have said hi, the chat knows you're on, is you will see my prompting style is very, very simple and very, very straightforward. Okay. Uh, I like to keep my conversations and my prompts very human. Okay. These things have been made in such a way that they are supposed to be human to interact with. So you will see my entire prompts are just conversations. Okay, very frankly. Okay, so we start with very, very clear directions. Okay, like I said, it's very important to have a clear sort of objective. Okay, so I'm going to put my objective out first, and I'm going to say it very clearly. I said, hey, let's type this in. I said, hey, I am going to make say a 40-second uh, commercial um, for the Jaguar, sorry, for the Jaguar F-Pace, F-Pace using AI tools. Okay. Now, if you look at this sentence has basically told the chat my entire objective. I've put it very clear what I am going to do. Okay. I'm going to make a 40-second commercial for the Jaguar F-Pace using AI tools. Similar line, I'm going to make a 40-second public service announcement about plastic waste affecting the ocean. I'm going to make a 3-minute bedtime story YouTube video for kids. So basically, you state your objective like very clear and straight cut out, right? After this, very important to tell the AI what you expect of it to do. This is what you're going to do. Now you're going to say that how can it assist you? Okay. I'm going to say that, okay, hey, I'm going to make a 40-second commercial for the Jaguar F-Pace using AI tools. I want, sorry, I want you to help me do some research on the brand and assemble an advertising brief. Guys, quick word here. What is an advertising brief? Okay. Uh, in an agency, in a marketing environment, in a film environment, media environment, whatever, we have something called a brief. A brief is this note or this piece of paper that goes around that labels out what are our objectives of doing what we are doing at every stage. Okay. When I say ChatGPT, write me an advertising brief, ChatGPT is not going to write me the ad itself. It's going to put down all of the research it's going to do. It's going to clearly state what is my objective of making this ad, who am I making this ad for, who am I targeting, who is my target audience, what kind of storyline am I pitching. All the information that you require will be present in this advertising brief. Very important word. Okay, you can, if you keep this word with you, advertising brief, you can use it anywhere. Okay, I want you to help me do some research on the brand and assemble an advertising brief. Okay, now I'm just going to go enter, and you will see immediately ChatGPT is going to go online, do some research about the brand and all of that. And my guess is it's going to take the recent rebranding into account. Okay, advertising brief. Let's see what objective it says. To craft a compelling 40-second commercial that encapsulates the Jaguar F-Pace essence, meddling luxury, performance, and innovation, while aligning with Jaguar's reimagined brand identity and appealing to a modern style conscious audience. Okay, now some troubleshooting. I don't want you to look at the rebranding. Only concentrate on the F pace, on the F pace as an individual product. Okay. Look at advertising done specifically for the F-Pace. Okay. Sometimes it can get deflected because there's a lot of information about uh, there's a lot of information about the new rebranding itself, right? Okay, so somebody pointed out that you didn't tell ChatGPT what kind of research you wanted to do. So very important question. But as you see, my chat is very inclined towards advertising and marketing. So whenever I say research, because of its memory, it knows what kind of research I'm talking about. So that's a good point. You should actually mention what research you wanted to do: analytical, you want to do brand research, communication research, visual, marketing, strategies, whatever. But basically, when you customize your ChatGPT, this is the kind of access you'll have. It'll already know what you're talking about, okay? So, to create a compelling 40-second commercial that highlights the F-Pace blend of luxury, performance, and innovation resonating with a modern lifestyle. Okay. So, all of this stuff it has: what is the positioning, what is the visual tonal elements. Now, you can go back and forth with it on each of these elements. Like, this is what I would do at a regular day of work. For now, after it has done like a bit of research about the brand, I am going to clearly tell it my creative direction, which I will then ask it to incorporate into the brief itself. Okay. So I will say very clearly now, see what I have said up till now. Okay, up till now, if you focus on what I've said that I'm going to make a 40-second commercial for the F-Pace using AI tools. I want you to help do me some research. So it did all of this research. Okay. Now, I said don't ignore that recent rebranding. Don't filter that out completely. So it did a research based on how the Jaguar brand treats the F-Pace and nothing else. Okay. So now I'm going to say, basically I'm going to give it, remember that seed idea that we had, that we will first go into the website, then we will find this thing called build your own, we will click on it, and then we will go into the ad. Okay, so that's what I'm going to tell it. Before I do that, I'm going to test it and see if it can go to the Jaguar website and see that build your own button. Okay, in the Jaguar website there is a button called build your own, called build your own. Okay. I'll just say, can you check that out? Okay. I'm just back stating my facts. This is something I do on a regular basis. Like, I cross-check myself with ChatGPT. I don't want to be pressing on that and actually something else happens and I look like an idiot and I make something else out of it. So absolutely, the build your own feature on Jaguar's website allows you to customize the Jaguar F-Pace to your preferences. Bang on, this is what we want, right? You can select from various models, engines, colors, wheels, interior trims, and features to create a vehicle that suits your style and your needs. Perfect. Okay. This flows along with the idea. Now let's tell it the idea. Okay. I will start my ad with a screen recording. Okay. I'm not saying anything different or anything special. I'm just basically putting across I'm just basically thinking aloud. You can say that. Yeah. I will start my ad with a screen recording of me logging logging into the, uh, into the Jaguar F-Pace website. And then I will click on build your own. And I will use that to transition into my AI ad. At first, maybe I'll show an engine assembling and then some interior shots of the car before going to some final cinematic shots of the car driving around. Okay. I want you to build me a solid advertising brief, and the car should be red. And I want this to be high energy, adrenaline driven, more appealing to the Jaguar's core customer base of drivers. Okay. So literally what I've just said is I basically said what is in my head. Okay. Like how a bad client would describe an idea to me, like this is what I want, and this is literally what I've done to ChatGPT. I've said I'll start my ad with a screen recording of me logging into the Jaguar F-Pace website, and then I will click build your own, and I will use that to transition into my ad. Okay. Um, Let me just zoom in. Yeah, maybe. Uh, at first, maybe I'll show the engine assembling and then some interior shots of the car before going into the final cinematic shots of the car driving. I want to build. I want you. Sorry, I want you to build me a solid advertising brief. And the car should be in red. I want this to be very high energy, adrenaline driven, and more appealing to Jaguars uh, customer base of drivers. Okay. Write me the ad brief. If I don't say write me the ad brief, you know what it's going to do? It's going to start writing a script. So you see, no special format that way. Basically, I'm just uh, trying to have like a very straightforward conversation. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what it says. Okay. Advertising brief. Jaguar F-Pace. Build the beast. Build the beast is actually nice. It's kind of cool. Yeah. Build the beast has a ring to it. Okay. Campaign title. Build the beast. A visceral 40-second adrenaline shot that takes the viewer from a click of combustion to configuration to command. Wow. Objective to create an electrifying commercial that embodies the thrill, precision, and power of the Jaguar F Pace. It starts with a relatable action, building your car online, and explodes into a high octane montage that positions the F Pace not just as an SUV, but a beast sculpted by your own desires. Wow. Okay. Target audience is 30 to 50. Okay. You can see this is stuff you can tweak. You can go back and forth about this and say, hey, my target audience is like actually larger than that or younger than that. Can you adapt the brief like that? Okay. Key message, you don't just buy a Jaguar, you build one, then you unleash it. Interesting. Okay, so it has also given me a narrative flow in terms of what is going to happen. So if you are non-technical that way, in terms of you're sort of confused about what should come first and what should come second, this will give you like a very good creative flow straight out of the bat. Like you don't need to worry about that, right? So it's also told me what kind of visual style and aesthetics I could consider. It has also given me the information of what kind of sound design and music would be nice. Okay, so music is industrial, electronic, or high BPM adrenaline score. The score that you heard when I played the ad, like that's what I'm talking about. Think Chemical Brothers meets Hans Zimmer. Interesting. Okay. Tagline options: built by you, unleashed by you. This isn't an SUV; it's instinct with a gearbox. Wow, that's actually nice. It's instinct with a gearbox. Performance piece by power. You don't just drive it; you own it. Okay. Call to action: start building your Jaguar F-Pace. It's even giving you a call to action here. Also, you can iterate, go back and forth like this. Uh, this is like the basic starting point. Now you have a starting point. Now it's saying, let me know if you want a storyboard with visuals per second, a full VO script, scene breakdown for your AI generation workflow, camera angles, compositions, etc. etc. Okay. Um, what is the VO? The VO is basically, like I said, the voiceover that I'm going to show you later how to create using 11 Labs. Basically, the person who's narrating the ad. Okay. What I'm going to do now, okay, is basically just copy this advertising brief as it is because I'm not going to use ChatGPT to write. I'm going to use ChatGPT to do all my research and do all of this technical stuff, while Claude is my writer. Okay. So what I do, quickly jump into Claude. I say yo, and because the first thing you say is hi. Okay, you don't. Okay, hi there. How can I help you today? So it says, you see, Claude and ChatGPT are quite different. You can't customize Claude as well as you can customize ChatGPT. So what I've done is basically I've pasted this what I've copied. Okay, except I don't want to paste this last part. Okay, I don't want Claude to know that I bought all of this stuff from ChatGPT. Yeah. Okay, let me just go back to chat. I'm just gonna copy from where this starts, yeah. And okay, sound design, all of that, tagline options, call to action. Okay, let's copy up to call to action. Now, what I do here, come to Claude, paste this, nothing else, and I just press enter. Yeah. Okay. I love this concept of the Jaguar F-Pace. The build the beast is premise is brilliantly connects with the online configuration, expressions of the visual thrill of driving and the actual vehicle. Okay, narrative. Okay, all of this is fine. I'll just say, write me the script. Script, creative treatment should be a priority. Basically, I not property, priority. Okay. Now, immediately it's going to start writing the script. As you can see, immediately it has started writing the script. Now, it is going to write a very, very, very detailed script. Okay. So basically, we started this process like 15 minutes earlier. Within 15 minutes, you basically have a full-blown script. So in people from the marketing and advertising and media background would know that this is an achievement in itself. Like it takes us 3 to 4 days to come up with a script. This kind of efficiency has never been seen in this field. Okay. Let's read the script. Okay. Jaguar F-Pace, build the beast, commercial script, 40 seconds AI commercial. Visual, close up of finger clicking on laptop, screen shows Jaguar website, cursor moves to build your own. Exactly like how our ad starts. Okay. You don't just buy performance, you build it. And then visual design, digital interface dissolves into hyperreal engine assembly, which is where you see the parts of the engine coming together and forming this engine, right? Precision engineer components float and lock together in a kinetic ball. Okay, whatever. It goes on. So you can see it's also given you timestamps saying from 16 seconds to 25 seconds, visually, this is what should be happening. From 26 seconds to 35 seconds, this is what should be happening. So you have everything from 0.00 seconds to 0.40 seconds. Everything is basically spelled out for you. It has even said visual approach and transitions, color grading should be like this, camera work should be like this, assembly sequence should be like this, sound design, you can take all of these things into action. The voiceover direction, it should be a British accent, male, mid-30s to 40s. Delivery should be confident and intimate, as if sharing powerful secret. It is giving you so much information that you can just run from here on out, okay? So now, a lot of times, when we do pitches, right, we just don't go to clients with just one script. We need to take multiple versions because they are willing to, they want to listen to options, yeah? Simply, if you have written a script, for example, you are doing that, how dangerous plastic waste is for the ocean, and you have written your script, you don't like the script very much, but this is ultimately your objective is the same thing, right? So I can come here and simply write, I like the script, but I want you to suggest a fresh creative treatment. For us to do a fresh creative treatment takes 2 days, okay? For AI, it's going to take like the next 30 seconds. A fresh creative treatment, keeping, staying true to my brief, let's say. Staying true to my brief and objective. Okay, so I like the script. I want something new with a fresh creative treatment, but it has to still align with the brief I've given it. I just don't want something random, right? So let's see how fresh this other perspective is. It's called Build the Beast Conceptual Treatment. Okay, Digital Genesis. Now you know the first treatment. Let's look at how different this treatment is. Okay, the treatment reimagines the Build the Beast campaign through a striking visual metaphor. The F-Pace emerges from a digital code into physical reality. The transition represents how customer choices is the configurator manifest as raw power on the road. Okay, 40 seconds. The architect, okay. We open not on a computer screen, but on an architect's table in a minimalist studio space. Interesting. Our protagonist, 30 to 40 successful professionals, stands before a floating holographic display of a Jaguar configurator. Okay, this is interesting. It's made it futuristic and stuff like that. Okay, wireframe of the F-Pace outline appears, color selection wipes across the model, engine specification causes a pulse of energy through the frame. Interesting. Digital to primal. The hologram begins to pulse with energy. Lines of code spiral around the vehicle, not green matrix code, but Jaguar red. See how it has identified and build your color into the ad. It's so intelligent. The core tightens, forming the actual components of the car, digital particles to form the engine block, lines of code transform into aggressive grill design. So you see, immediately, like within like 3 minutes, you have a different creative treatment. Now you can do this process over and over and over and over again. It's basically endless. But ultimately, taking into consideration, let's say that our first script is our finalized script. Okay. Ideally, I would, like I said, I will do this process like at least 10 to 15 times. But right now, I'm going to go back to ChatGPT and say, I'm just going to paste the script here. Okay. This is the script that Claude wrote. Okay. Uh, this is my script. Can you do a complete uh, breakdown? This is your final step, guys. Okay, remember this. After you paste the script, this should be your last prompt. This is my script. Can you do a complete breakdown of all the images and visuals I need to bring this to life? Okay, very important. Let's just summarize. What did we do with the LLM? We gave it our vision. It took that vision, it did some research on it, and this is what it said it thinks. We said, okay, write me an advertising brief. It gave me that advertising brief. I took it to Claude. I said, this is your brief, write me a script. It wrote me that script. I come back to ChatGPT, put that script in, and I say, this is my script. You can do a complete breakdown of all the images and visuals I need to bring this to life. Okay. What this is going to basically now do is create the final list of visuals that I need to make to bring my entire ad to life. Now, this is your blueprint for your video. Everything that you see here is basically the blueprint for what is ultimately going to become your video. Okay. See, look at this. Okay. It's giving you a list of things. So we start from the config screen. We see real screen recording, UI interaction, engine assembly. So this is all the major sequences. Okay. This is all the things you need to basically create. Okay. This is some prompt examples also is giving you. But ultimately, what is more important for you is this sequence. 0.0 to 0.5 seconds. What are the images you need to create? You need to create close-up of fingers, screen recording showing Jaguar India website, build your own is visible, cursor moving from F-Pace and red, options over the shoulder, okay? Then from 0.6 to 15 seconds, what are the images we need to create? Abstract background with floating engine components, parts fly in, rotate, and lock together in 3D space, okay? You remember the beginning of how this ad comes to life? Yeah? First, the screen recording comes. After that, you go to vehicles. You come down to build your own. And then these parts sort of fly together to form this engine. So if you see, all of these images actually started off with ChatGPT. It said, create this image. After this, you create this image. After this, you create this image. From here, you create this image. Entire flow has been created for you now. All you need to do is follow this flow once you're finalized with it, and you're like 50% there to your content. Okay. As a final step, what I'm going to do is just copy this. Okay. Bring it to any kind of like a notes folder. Okay. And I'm just going to paste it here. Okay. So you can see the F-Pace. These are my visuals from 0.6 to 15. These are all the visuals I need to make. From 6 to 25, these are all the visuals. From 26 to 35, these are all the visuals. So my blueprint is now ready. Okay. I am ready to go to the images, to go to the step where I can jump into images. Okay. So what did we do? We found a compelling story. We ideated using that story. We brainstormed along with ChatGPT. We refine that story using Claude, and finally, we have a script with us from where we can proceed to video, proceed to image creation. Okay. I'll take maybe 2 minutes of questions before we jump to image creation? Yeah, I'm just going to open the chat. Is the chat alive for everyone?
Yeah, I've just opened it up for everyone. Folks, you can turn the chat to everyone and start posting a few of your questions.
Okay.
We'll take about 5 minutes to answer a few of your questions on this, and we'll jump to the next step.
Okay, okay, people wanted the previous slide here. Just okay, I'm going to look at questions now. Okay. Okay, I'm just looking for questions that are specific to this Midjourney and writing part, okay? And the rest of the questions we will take at the end. Claude is not a part of ChatGPT. Claude is another large language model. ChatGPT is one. ChatGPT is a great research assistant. Think of it that way. Claude is your writing assistant, okay? How to customize ChatGPT? If you go to your settings, there will be a customization option. You just have to turn it on. It basically enables memory where ChatGPT remembers you as a person, and whatever interaction you have with ChatGPT, it basically fine tunes itself to sort of talk to you. Yeah. Can I generate AI actors 100%? Can you create image video using AI to do your own IP for the final output? Yes, you can 100%. You can mark IP now. Why do we need to have small talk with hi like AI? Luke didn't say hi. It's completely up to you, you know, like I don't know, it's just me. Like I like to say hi before I start anything. So yeah, just my style. Not necessary in any way. It's not scientifically proven anywhere. You can just start with it. That's just my way of doing things. Yeah. What did you call this step? The first stage was the brief. The second, the Claude did the script. Okay, the third stage is the short breakdown. After you finish your, so 3 stages, okay? Ideation, ChatGPT. Second stage is advertising brief inside ChatGPT only. After you have your brief, third step is take your brief to Claude, give it a Claude, say, write me the script. Claude writes you the script. Fourth stage, take that script from Claude, come back to ChatGPT and say, now do a short breakdown. Short breakdown is what you need to say. When you say short breakdown, ChatGPT is going to take all the script information, break it down to each and every single image that you need to create. And you will see why this is important in just a minute. Okay. Okay. You can completely do this with Gemini, like 100%. Okay. Okay, some general questions like IP and copyright and stuff, I'll come to later, okay? Okay, Christelle has a very good question. How do you make sure that your idea is remaining unique if both LLMs are open to the public? I'll show you a very, very interesting example. If I go to ChatGPT, ask, is this conversation private? Let's ask ChatGPT right now. Let's see what it says. Yes, this conversation is private between you and me. Nothing you say here is public and it's not visible to anyone else. Just a few things. Only you can see this chat unless you share it. Your data isn't used to train further versions of ChatGPT unless you opt for it in settings. I have opted not to use my data to train other versions, okay? I don't store personal info unless you explicitly tell me to remember something. Okay, whatever conversations you are having inside of ChatGPT are completely private. Okay. So whenever, how does Claude? Okay, copyright I'll talk about right at the end. Okay, guys, copyright is a slightly bigger topic. Yeah, I think Lalit has summarized it well. Ideation ChatGPT, advertising brief ChatGPT, script is Claude, short breakdown ChatGPT. Look at what Lalit has said. I'm just going to copy Lalit's message and paste it here. This is exactly what, sorry, I pasted my brief. Well, I can't copy his message or what. Okay, so anyways, okay, can I jump to image creation? Give me a thumbs up if you want to jump to image. If I've missed any questions now, we'll come back to it at the end. Don't worry. Okay, let's jump into Midjourney. In Midjourney, you want to spend more time on Midjourney, right? Okay. So, anyways, don't worry about the prompts and stuff like that. You guys will be getting like a translation of all of this, I think, if I'm not wrong. Okay. You guys will be getting like all of this like whatever we have done. Okay. Don't worry about this. Yeah, just go with the workflow. See, ultimately, don't get into the specifics. Just remember that we are basically doing ideation. We are creating a script. After creating that script, we are doing a breakdown. Now we'll create the images. Okay. So I want to introduce you to Midjourney. Okay. My favorite tool on earth. Where are you, Midjourney? Yeah. Okay. So this is the interface for Midjourney. Whenever you open Midjourney, this is what you're going to see. I always tell this to people that Midjourney is like a university. Everything that I know about prompting, I learned from Midjourney. Okay. It is basically like a university. When you open Midjourney, the first thing you see is this explore page, where I think is the most brilliant thing about Midjourney. And technically, they kind of started this. Look at how photorealistic this image is. Yeah. Midjourney 7 is creating like some insane stuff. So this world of image creation and image generation at first might look a bit challenging. Like, look at this imagination of this person, how they are imagining things also, right? This might seem daunting at first. It might seem like, okay, people are imagining stuff that is out of this world. Okay. It gives me FOMO also sometimes. But the thing is, the best part about Midjourney is whenever you're opening Midjourney and you're here to learn, the only thing you need to do is look at the plethora of work that people are doing here. Now, the easiest way to learn things on Midjourney is if you just click on this, you look at the prompt is written right here. You want to use this prompt. Look at how simple this prompt is, guys. You know what the prompt is for this image? It says the only thing that changes is yourself. And this is the image it has created. Okay. How wonderful is this? Yeah. So image prompting is a very different kind of game. It's very different from your large language model prompting and all that. It can be like super subjective. It can be super detailed at the same time also. Okay. Look at how subjective this prompt is and look at how detailed this prompt is. Okay. Let's just use this prompt. Let's just run it. So one thing I want to point out, guys, all of the images that you see here, you'll be able to learn whatever the prompts are. And in case you want to copy the prompt, all you need to do is use text. Press use text from here. Just press enter. And this already starts getting created in your profile. One important thing I want to mention to all of you is that now let's take this, for example, this image, okay, very cute elephant. Look at the prompt. This person that has written the prompt, this person that has ultimately created this image, they own the image. They don't own the prompt. A prompt is just an instruction, guys. One prompt, you cannot copyright a prompt. There is no secret prompt. Okay. Prompts are universal. Everybody will be able to create hundreds of things with prompts. But what you create with that prompt, that is yours. Okay. For example, I will use the same prompt. And what do you think? Will it give me the same image? It will give me a completely different image. One prompt will never create the same image twice. Always remember that. You remember the elephant from the picture that you saw and look at the elephant that it has created here. Okay, so that is how easy it is to learn Midjourney. Basically, start by just coming here, using prompts, putting them in your own create bar and seeing what these prompts are basically creating. Okay, look at everything is created in different styles and different mannerisms and such beautiful images you can just create with simple prompts now. Look, we have been here for 5 minutes and we have already created such interesting images. Okay. So this can just go on and on and on. And this, it creates a different image every single time. Okay. So that is for your explore page. Please come use the explore page, learn how to make different kinds of images. There are brilliant people here who do different kinds of work. Okay. Before we get into creating, one thing I want to show you, you can explore all these other things. But one thing I want to show you what really differentiates Midjourney is the chat feature. This really helped me to learn about prompting, especially this newbies chat. If you come here, you will find a lot of people are having conversations about all these different kinds of images and how to create what. Somebody's asking, how do I change the color of this hair? Yeah. Somebody's saying, okay, you can do this. Then you see, so if you come and state your problem here, a lot of people will come and sort of help you out. There is something called also prompt craft where people are creating different kinds of prompts. With them, they are creating different kinds of images. See, now somebody is trying to create a consistent character over here, giving a character reference. So people are talking about this. How can you change it? So a lot of discussion, a lot of good community out there that are helping other people also do stuff, create beautiful images. So great place to be in. Okay. Now let's come to create. How do you actually create an image? Okay. This is Midjourney's create bar. Whatever you create, basically all of these images I have created. I think I've personally created more than 50,000 images on Midjourney. But what I've learned by creating all of these images is that simple, clear directions will often produce very good results. Okay. Let's come to our car. Okay. Before I get into actually start making images of the car itself, let's just quickly look at how to actually write a very single prompt. Okay. What do you want to start with? Let's start with our favorite prompt, an apple. Okay. What do you think? An apple. Okay. So, okay, let's also look at something. Whenever you're creating in Midjourney, this is your create bar. Whatever you'll be typing here will ultimately become what your prompt is going to be. Okay. This has a few settings. Okay. Let's quickly run through the settings. The first setting is basically your image size. Very easy to understand, guys. Okay. Image size is basically if you want to go horizontal, like cinematic, if you want to go like social media, 9:16 and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah. Right now, we're going to go 16:9. Stylization. Stylization is nothing but also if you put your mouse here, it's going to explain to you what it literally is. But stylization is nothing but how much of Midjourney's brain do you want Midjourney to apply to your prompt. 1,000 is basically Midjourney is not going to listen very much to your prompt. It's going to just make what it wants. 0 is Midjourney is not going to apply its brain at all and it's just going to create what your prompt is asking for. 300 is a very good value. That's in fact my favorite value. I don't touch it very much. I love 300. It's a great balance. 300, 350 is a very good zone to be in. Okay. Weirdness is not something I touch. It basically produces weird sort of unexpected results, you can say, in your images. This is not something I touch at all. Variety is nothing but how different do you want the 4 images to be from each other. If you want them to be very different, variety should be high. If you want them to be less different, then it should be low. I usually keep it to 15. Whenever you're working, I will always suggest in mode, always go towards raw mode, never stay to standard. Raw is basically it focuses more on your prompt and your realism and all of that kind of stuff. Version we are using today, version 6.1, not 7. 7 just came out, still undergoing its tightening, its fine tuning and stuff like that. 6.1 is a stable one. And speed, we are at relax. You can go fast turbo, but we don't need that. Okay. Also, one additional thing I want you guys to write down is something called docs.midjourney.com. Okay. Please remember this. Write it down. docs.midjourney.com. I will put this in the chat if you guys want. Yeah, I'll just put in the chat. Why I'm saying is this page is everything you need to know about Midjourney, okay, or image creation. Okay, if you go to getting started, you will see everything that you need to know about using your own image, how to create consistent characters. Everything you will find here. This is the most detailed, comprehensive guide to image creation that exists free on the internet. You don't need to go download prompt sheets and listen to 100 YouTube videos. You just take your time, go through this entire document, everything you need to know about Midjourney, and it even as basic as prompting basics. Okay, prompt basics. Okay, what is a prompt? Creating an image with Midjourney starts with a prompt. A prompt is a simple text or phrase you can tell Midjourney of what kind of image you want. Your prompt could be just one word or a complete phrase. The more thought you put into your prompt, the more unique and interesting your image can be. So take a moment to think about what you want and use your words to guide Midjourney's creative process. So ultimately no formula here. Okay, it's basic human language, being very clear and articulate about what you want. And like it says, take a moment, think about what you want to see. So literally just imagine what you want to see, describe it to Midjourney. That's all it is. There's no science behind it. Okay, there's not complicated science. It's very, very simple, guys. Okay, now let's talk about what do we want to see. We want to see an apple. Okay, you will see me. Okay, an apple. Just copy this, paste it once, twice, thrice. So whenever I'm doing prompts, right, I just don't input the prompt once. I put the prompt at least 4 to 5 times, because it's essential to see like the vast amount of results that you get, right? And you will see that most of the times, like you'll get like very unexpected, quirky, offbeat results also sometimes. Like, it's very common to see that. Okay. Okay. So you see how realistic this apple is. You remember the apple from version 1 of Midjourney? The Picasso apple, we call it in office. Uh, okay, it's taking some time to load. But I think you guys can see it here. Yeah, very clearly. So very, very real looking apple. Like this is so super realistic. Like I know when it's so, yeah. Okay, it's still buffering. Yeah, so super realistic. You can't even make out it's like a fake image. Okay, so that being that, let's get into image prompting for our ad. Okay, now ultimately, what do we want to create? Okay, we want to create a storyboard. What is a storyboard? A storyboard is something that looks like this. So all of the images, that short list that I made, right? That the time that I took to make this list. Okay, this list of what shot should come in front of what. One second. What shot should come in front of what should be the first shot, the second shot, the next shot. So ultimately when I make each of those images, right, the each of those images should look like a sequence like this. First one image, then this image should come, then this image, then this image, then this image. So we will put all of these things together like this so that we can form one cohesive story. Okay, let's start working on this image first. This is the more challenging one, the cinematic shots of the car driving outside. So let's try and create a prompt for an image that shows a Jaguar F-Pace outside. Okay. Uh, let's go to Midjourney and simply we will type here. Now, always remember, guys, in image prompting, no, I will just take the document. I will write to you what is the most important things in image prompting. Okay. Let's take a close-up look. Okay. The first and the most important thing when you are image prompting is knowing the category. Okay. Category can be anything. It could be oil painting. Okay. It could be film photo. Okay. It could be a cinematic scene. These are called categories. Categories are nothing but what is the category of the image that you are creating. Okay. The first thing that you write in your prompt should be the category. What is the second thing you should write in your prompt? The most important thing that comes after category is what is the perspective, or what we usually call in the technical language is magnification. Okay. What kinds of magnification exist? Wide shot. Okay. Then there is mid shot. Then there is close up. In case you find these confusing, what are these? You just simply go to Google, you type camera angles. They're nothing but camera angles. Okay. You look at any one of these images. Let's look at a nice labeled image. Okay. Yeah, this guy is fine. Still opening. What is this? Oh, we don't want to buy it. We just want to see it. Okay. So this. Okay. Sorry. Just look at a different one. Okay. What is a? No, that's terrible. It's a terrible. Okay. This one seems nice. Yeah. So what kind of shots? Okay, overhead shot, worms angle, high angle. So where basically the camera is, like what do you want to see is what I'm trying to refer to. So there are different kinds of shots, right? There are different kinds of angles. Okay, this is a good example. Yeah, extreme long shot. You can see where I'm, sorry. Irritating. Yeah, perfect. Extreme long shot. Okay, long shot, mid shot, extreme close up, big shot. It's very important to define what is your magnification. This is very important for the image generation models. Okay, so just go to Google, type camera angles or shots and all of that, and refer to a list like this whenever you're image prompting. Okay, if you want something very close, go for a big close up or an extreme close up. If you want something very far, then go for the extreme long shot or whatever. Yeah. Okay, so camera angles, very, very important. Yeah. Let's go back. Okay, magnification, or we'll say camera angle. Okay, this is number one. This is number two. What is the third most important thing after camera angle? Subject. Subject is nothing but main subject. In our case, it is the Jaguar F-Pace car. Okay, main entity. Let's call it that. After that, after number three, what is more important is what, where, and how. For example, what I mean by this is, what is the entity doing? Where is the entity? And how is the entity? For example, our entity is the car. Okay. What is the car doing? Car is driving. Okay. Where is the car driving? Say car is driving, sorry, DRI, driving in Milan. Okay. How is it driving? It's driving fast. Okay. Fifth thing, last thing, more important, lighting. Okay. Lighting and camera. And camera. So here we will say something like, say, bright lighting, or we will say something like cinematic lighting. Okay. Cinematic lighting. Then we will say what kind camera was it shot on? Okay. RE Alexa. This is one of my favorite cameras. You can say whatever camera you like. If it's an oil painting, you don't need to mention the camera. Okay. So these 5 things, take a note of this if you want, are the most important things when it comes to image prompting. What is the category? What is the camera angle and magnification? What is the subject? What, where, and how? This is relative to what the subject is, and lighting and camera. Okay. Let's take these things and let's construct our first prompt. Okay. Let's go to Midjourney. What is our category now? Our category is a cinematic scene. That's what we want to create. What kind of cinematic scene? We want to create a wide cinematic scene. So we are going to call it a wide angle shot. Okay. After that, what is our subject? Jaguar F-Pace car. Okay. Jaguar F-Pace car. Okay. What is the, remember, what is the next thing? What is the subject doing? Car is driving. Similarly, again, we will say Jaguar F-Pace car is driving at high speed. Okay. Now, what is the next thing? Where is it driving? Car on a highway in Germany. Okay. How is it? We already said very fast. Now we have to say what are the last 2 categories remaining? Lighting and camera. Okay. Let's say bright sunlight. Okay. And let's say shot on RE Alexa. Yeah. So this more or less, okay, is the basic structure of your prompt. Now let's see what this prompt will create for us. Okay. There is no specific or desired length or any correct or wrong length of how long or short a prompt should be. Completely dependent on the subject. It's very debatable. There is no right or wrong. Okay, one thing we need to pay attention to, if the FP is correct. I don't think this is the correct car. This you will find very often. You are asking for the FPs, but it's completely giving you a different car. This is very normal. Let's look at the result. Maybe our car is correct. Everywhere a car is wrong. This is not getting the car correct. Okay. This is actually the FPs, but this is not the shot I'm looking for. Okay. Let's just prompt it again. One thing I have forgotten. Can anyone guess what I've forgotten? Something I've forgotten is a very, very important topic. Do you remember what is the color of our car, which I forgot to mention? A red Jaguar F-Pace car, right? Cinematic scene, wide-angle shot, a red Jaguar F-Pace car, Jaguar F-Pace car driving at high speed, car on the highway in Germany, bright sunlight, shot on Arri Alexa. Okay. These values that you see, guys, don't get intimidated. They are just the values that are here. Stylization means stylized 350, stylization or is basically the mode. 16:9 is the aspect ratio. Chaos is basically variety. I don't know why they call it variety here and chaos here. They should just call it the same thing. Anyways, let's just try again. Let's see if we get the correct result. Okay. So image generation is a love and hate game where you keep trying and trying and trying till you get the right results. So as you can see, we are not very close to the right results because none of these cars look like the F-Pace. Yeah, so a very typical day at work. Yeah, this is the F-Pace. So out of 9 renders, we got 1 correct image. That is like literally like what my work day looks like. Yeah, so let's save this image. Now, for example, in our prompt, we are at Germany, right? But we don't want this landscape. Let's say we want some landscape that is very, very different from this. We can just change our location by what? Changing just the word Germany, right? So let's say car on a highway in Germany. Instead of Germany, let's just say Cape Town. Okay. Let's go to beautiful Cape Town. Car on a highway in Cape Town. Okay. Let's see how this will impact, how the change of location is going to impact your visual. So a very key thing here is once you like a certain prompt or you have gotten used to a certain prompt, you just need to keep modifying that prompt to get more and more results. For every image that you make, you don't need to write a different prompt. Take one prompt, keep modifying it, add a word here, remove a word there, just see what it works. It's a lot of fine tuning that you have to do. Yeah. Okay, just create a few images. So this is Cape Town according to it. Cape Town doesn't look so really different. This is more or less our car. Let's just say driving at high speed. Let's remove the highway part of it. Say driving on an icy road in Siberia. Let's see how different this becomes, right? Yeah, pasting it thrice again. So see, we have managed to go from like a European look to a South African look, like this warm temperature sort of a look. Very interesting, although the car is wrong, but and to ice. Oh wow, this is actually a very nice image. This looks like it's going fast, right, guys? Oh, this looks like it's going super fast. It's got a, I don't know what you call that, like a wing or something. Spoiler. Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, let's save this image. It's a beautiful image. Okay. So that is basically how you create these images. You can go and try out like hundreds of different combinations of places and stuff like this, but ultimately this is what it's going to create. If you want to change anything about the prompt, just change the magnification. For example, you don't want a wide angle shot, say a close-up shot. Let's see if I say a close-up shot, how is it going to impact my prompt, okay? So a lot of time for me goes in tweaking these prompts, right? Making small tweaks here and there, changing the location slightly, changing the terrain slightly, changing the angle slightly, changing the lighting slightly. Say I'm doing all day shots, then I do one night shot. So it's so it's interesting like that. So see, the moment I said close up instead of a long shot, it started giving me like these really interesting car tire shots, right? So very, very important. Keep tweaking your prompt. Like this is an interesting angle, right? Altogether, the moment I said close up. So yeah, so that's basically image prompting. Now you need to use this knowledge about writing your first basic prompt. Once you master this, it's up to you to go to docs.midjourney.com and figure out the most advanced methods. Okay. What I've shown you is the ground level method. What you can only do is build on top of this. Yeah. And of course, the entire community is just out there for you to just go and study and learn. Like it just requires time and focus, right? So that is about Midjourney. Before I go to Q&A or before we go to video, I want to show you, remember what I said about Magnific. Okay. Magnific is basically an image upscaler. Now, let's look at the image we have downloaded. Okay. Where is my downloaded image? Yeah. This is the image that I have downloaded from Midjourney. Okay. Now let's take a closer look at this image. Okay, before I take a closer look, so this is Magnific. Magnific is an image upscaler. Okay, what it does is basically upscales images. Actually, you will see a better result in this image, but I will show you this image, but I will also show you how to actually upscale an image. What we do is come to Magnific Upscaler. All we need to do here is drag our image, drop it here. We need to go to Midjourney and quickly just copy the prompt of what was used to create this image. Okay, we need to copy that prompt because the upscaler needs to know what it is upscaling. Okay, paste the prompt here. I'm going to upscale it by only 2x. You can upscale it by a lot more factors if required. Presets, I'll just keep it to custom. Standard, I'll go for films and photography. As you can see, there's art and illustration, video game asset, 3D renders. So I'm just going to go to films and photography. And I'm going to keep my resemblance high, maybe creativity 1. Engine, I'm going to go to Sharpie. Illugio is for animation, Sparkle is for like beauty and stuff. Sharpie is like to make things look real. Now, as this image is upscaling, I'm going to show you what upscaling does, okay? Let's quickly look at this. Now, this is an image. This is a drone shot that I made for a commercial today. Okay. Now, pay very close attention. Okay. We're going to take an in-depth look at this shot. Now, this shot looks like this. Is my screen clear to everyone? It's clear. Like all these things are clear, but it's not crisp and sharp is what I mean, Now, I will show you the magic of upscaling. Now, this is the Midjourney output. This is my upscaled output. See the difference? You see how these trees and everything, now pay attention to this house and what will become of this house, okay? You see that? It just doesn't increase resolution. It basically enhances the image to create more textures, okay? You see how this image has gone from a blur, which is created from the AI and basically become real, like a photograph almost. Yeah, so that is upscaling. Okay, this is Midjourney. This is an upscale image. This looks like photorealistic almost. Okay, when it comes to our image, this is from Midjourney. Look at the headlights. Okay, pay attention to the headlights, guys. There is some detail, but it's a bit like out of focus, blurred. Look at what happens after I upscale. Sharp, crisp. Okay, look at the hood and the reflections on the screen. Okay, this is like a blur, and then you have crisp results. Okay, and it affects every part of the image. Look at the door handles. Look at this door handle. Okay, pay attention to that. You see the difference? It builds the door handle. Yeah, and this just not on the car. Okay, just look at the background. Look at these trees. Yeah, complete blur, and you can see texture. So this is the difference that amateurs. This is Midjourney, upscale. So this is the difference that will take your work from looking amateurish to looking completely professional. Okay. The key is upscaling. Nobody talks about upscaling. It's like the most untalked about thing on the internet when it comes to AI. But trust me, guys, upscaling is real. Upscaling is the major difference between professional looking AI work and amateur looking AI work. Okay. So if you're doing a project, make sure you're like upscaling your images. Okay. So that is it for image creation. Yeah. After this, I'm going to jump into video. Yeah. Should we just jump into video and then do Q&A, because video is very short. Yeah. Video is just like, now we just have to uh, convert the images basically to video, right? And then we can do a longer Q&A. That'll be better. Yeah. So see, now ultimately the objective is that we have to create this storyboard. So with Midjourney, now you have created 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 15 images like this. Okay. Now, how do you animate these images, right? For animating the images, we will be using something called Runway. Now, there are other image generators today. There's Google Veo. There is like all sorts of these other things. But Runway is what I first used. Runway was like the Midjourney moment for images. Runway is that moment for video. Yeah. So, and also one thing, guys, if AI suddenly seems intimidating, no, like there is, now I'm showing you a lot of apps. I'm showing you Midjourney, I'm showing you Magnific, I'm showing you Runway, I'm showing you Luma Labs, 11 Labs, all of these kinds of things. If, for example, you want to try these things, you don't want to take 10 subscriptions, Runway is the best platform to try it on. I'll tell you why. If I go to all tools in Runway, look at all the tools I get in one platform. Generate video, generate image, generate audio, lip sync, okay, remove background, text to image. So basically image creation, but inside of Runway. You can make images within Runway itself, okay? The image generator is not as good as Midjourney, but at least in one tool, you can do everything. Okay, it's a huge benchmark. Like Runway is a great app, and Runway images are really cinematic and really crazy looking. Okay, so you can explore all of these other tools. I won't get into everything, but remember upscale images. What I did with Magnific, you can also do with Runway. Okay, Magnific is like, say, ultra professional. This still gets the job done, but in the same space, if you don't want to buy 10 apps, Runway is a good app to sort of explore. Okay, with that said, let's actually dive back to one of my previous sessions. I already have a session made for the Jaguar ad, right? Now, text to video is pretty simple. Okay, I'll show you the steps again. You need to log into Runway, come into generate video, and Runway has also just launched Gen 4. Okay, maybe I will show you something in Gen 4 maybe towards the end. Let's see. What you need to do is go to Gen 3 Alpha Turbo. Gen 4 we are still testing out. We haven't tested out. This has just come out, guys. Okay, so Gen 3 Alpha Turbo is our workhorse for everything mostly. What you have to do is very simple. Just drag the image here, and keep this in mind that when I'm using Runway, I don't really need to prompt as much, because I'll tell you why. When you're presenting an image to the video generator, no, the image should give the generator a good enough idea about what's going to happen in the image. If you want something very specific to happen, car exploding, then you prompt. Otherwise, don't prompt. Okay, look at this. I'm just going to simply press generate. There is no prompt written. I have not written any sort of prompt for this. I'm just going to press generate, and within a second, your generation should start. Okay, so ideation, I would say, always is the longest phase. After that, creating the images is like the second part. It is also longer. Video is the shortest phase, because by the time you come to video, everything for you is already prepared and ready. Okay, so this is in queue. Okay, it's gonna like be ultra fast, like Runway. I love Runway because it's so fast. Yeah. Like for example, these turbo models, like as by the name goes, the turbo models are really fast. The Gen 4, the Gen 3 models like take a lot of time. Gen 3 Alpha also takes a lot of time. Gen 4 takes like 20 minutes per video. So you see, immediately you have motion, right? So from a still image, convert into video. Now, like the images, you will see every output will be slightly different from each other. So here also it's essential that you do multiple outputs for each image. Okay, don't just stick to one single output. let's just look at the other image we made. How does that look? Okay, let's just give that a try also. So all of the cinematic shots that you basically saw in the edit, yeah, they are all made out of Runway. They all started their life as images. Like everything from here started their life as an image, and this image basically went into Runway, and they became individual clips, which I then put together. Yeah, so all of these were individual images. Yeah. So once you get all of these individual images together, it's just a matter of saving them into a storyboard format, going into Runway, putting one image after the other, and basically doing your final, like your final edit. Yeah, or basically your final assembly. So the end part is not really the difficult part. The difficult part is actually the ideation and the image creation. The image creation part, honestly, is the longest part, I would say, like out of any creation process, right? Let's just see if our renders are done. Okay, this is done. Let's see if our result is good. Yeah, super. Yeah, see, look at that. And there, voila, you have motion. And you do this enough times and you have enough clips to put together a film, right? So this is one segment of it. You keep doing this over and over and over again, you end up doing like a film in it yourself. Yeah. So that is Runway. Super simple, don't need a prompt. Now, if you want to prompt, I'll tell you in which scenario, okay? Let's just say car explodes. Okay, let's see if the car explodes. So if you want something this specific to happen, then only you prompt. Otherwise, you don't need to prompt. Okay, so I'll like, it starts raining or it becomes night or something or the other. Then only you need to sort of address it in prompting. Okay, by the time this renders, let's quickly look at the second thing, which is Luma Labs. Okay, and why I use Luma Labs, I'll show you for a very interesting thing. In the ad, if you notice in the beginning, there is something very interesting that happens, which is this. Okay, this is called keyframe animation. Okay, I'll play it slowly for you guys. So keyframe animation is nothing but basically animation created between two images using AI. Okay, the first image being this, and the second image being this. Okay, I created these two images inside of Midjourney, and then I created this beautiful animation in between them where it looks like all of these parts are coming together to form this engine. Okay, this you will see happens rapidly in the beginning of the video. Okay, this happens. Then from this image, we go to this image. From this image, we go to the cars image. So these transitions that look like special effects here have been also made using AI. And how to create them, I'll show you now. Okay. Let's just look if our exploding car render is done. Where is it? Some Chrome. Okay. Okay. Let's look here. Did our car explode? No, it did not explode. Okay. Yeah, we'll have to try it like a million times before it actually does. But ideally it should. Yeah, okay. But that's not the priority. You get the idea. Basically, in motion, the prompt here, like it says, optional in the very beginning is actually very, very optional. Your images will do the job for you. Okay. So that is Runway. Just make the images, drag them here, put them into motion, do a 5-second or a 10-second render if you want. I suggest 5 seconds because nobody uses a 10-second video. Just generate and there you have your images. Okay. Now coming to the second part, which is keyframe animation. Very, very interesting. Okay. Is basically, remember what I said, image number 1, image number 2, animation between the two images is called keyframe animation. Okay, how to do this keyframe animation? To do keyframe animation, you can do it in Runway also, but I use a tool called Luma Labs. Luma Labs is another text to image, text to video as well as image to video machine. Okay, let's just quickly log into Luma Labs. Super simple to use, guys. Okay, super simple to use. Okay, so this is already a timeline that I have for these animations, and I'll show you how to do them. Okay, let's just quickly go back into Midjourney. go to my organized folder, and you will see I have like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of images. Let's just, I want two very specific images within which I want to create a transition. Let's just look. I must have some images of the engine lying around. Let's just take one of those. Should be somewhere around here. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So let's take this image, for example. Look at the prompt for this image, like super simple. Okay. Okay. A cinematic scene, top-down vertical perspective. Okay. Category, cinematic scene. What is the perspective? Top-down vertical perspective. What is the subject? A disassembled engine block lying in the center of the image. Yeah. With different components surrounding it. Red background, minimalistic. That's the prompt. As simple as that. Let's save this image. Okay. And we need a fully completed engine. Let's just take this as an example for now. Okay. Save. Okay. Now, basically, for any keyframe animation, no, you need two images. Okay. How to do a keyframe animation? Once you open Luma, what you will see is this. Okay. What you need to do is come here. The moment you click on this, it'll ask you to upload images. You upload your first image first. Always upload the first image first. Something went wrong. Okay, brother. Let's try again. I upload my first image. Okay. Again. Just refresh this. Let's try again. Okay. Added. Huh? I don't know if something is wrong with the image, or maybe the server is down. I don't know. Let's upload something else. Oh, it's again. Okay, that's interesting. Let's just try and reuse message. Okay. Okay. So for example, this is something I uploaded earlier. So basically, you see, I've uploaded the same images. Okay. What I've done is the first image is basically of those things with the parts lying around. The second is the completed engine. I come to my prompt and I very simply type camera. Okay, that you will see the moment. Actually, I don't even need to type camera. The moment I go into this, no, it'll tell you what kind of camera movement you want. And Luma is super simple to use because they show you the camera movements that are possible here, right? So let's just say we go with a pedestal down where the camera is basically tracking down. And I will just simply, again, my prompting, super straightforward and simple. Parts come together to form an engine. Yeah, parts come together to form an engine. Okay. What I'm going to simply do is just enter this prompt, and you will see that it will start creating. This takes a long time to create. This will take at least 15 to 20 minutes to render out. Okay. I'll show you some previous results that I've done. Same thing I've done is uploaded. You can see I've uploaded like two different images, and I've said parts coming together to form an engine. And look at its interpretation of the prompt. I brought the user's vision to life by animating the parts assembling into an engine, emphasizing the industrial precision and bold red aesthetic from both frames. So like this, it's going to basically create like n number of transitions, and you need to make them because, like I said, for every result is going to be different. So you need to keep rendering and rendering and rendering and rendering till you find your perfect match, right? So it's a trial and error phase. Like you do the same prompt, but you will be getting different results every single time. Yeah. So it's a kind of back and forth. It's still like getting there. It's not like as good as it should be, but still I think it does like a pretty decent job, you know. If you ask me manually how to do this, like this would have been very difficult to pull off. Like you will need CG and VFX and stuff to do stuff like this. So it's getting there, but I think great stuff, you know. So Luma is great for these keyframe transitions. And once you have the transition that you actually like, you do as many keyframe transitions as you want, right? And then put them together. So you have your keyframe transitions, and then you have your cinematic shots, and ultimately you end up having a bunch of footage that basically you can put together and cut into something like this, right? So I have used the keyframe transition for a specific purpose here. You can use it creatively for any purpose that you would like, right? Yeah. So with that knowledge, let's see if our Luma transition is rendered. Still dreaming. It's going to take a while. We'll come back to this, okay? Okay, guys, before I conclude, let me just see the questions. Yeah, I'm gonna summarize everything. Don't worry. Like once we come to the Q&A, I'm gonna give you like a full summary, okay? Before we conclude this, okay, I want to quickly touch on something called 11 Labs. Yeah, remember what I said about audio generation. So now, see, you have done story. You know how to do a story using ChatGPT and Claude. You basically go tell it, this is what I want, gives you a story. You go back and forth on that story, get it corrected, all of that kind of stuff. After that, the second process is from that story, you create the images. Okay, that is step number 2, which is Midjourney. Midjourney helps you go from text to image. Okay, so in text to image, you create all your images. After you create all your images, you put them together in the form of a storyboard. Now, your storyboard, you take one by one image from your storyboard, go into Runway and Luma and make your images into video. So first, text to text, which is your script creation. Second step, text to image, Midjourney. Third step, image to video, Runway. Now, upskilling on it, if you want to do, you can fit these processes in the middle, but this is the big step. Now, you know how to create a script, you know how to create an image, you know how to create a video. Let me show you how to create a voiceover or a narration or dialogue or any kind of audio that you want, okay? For this, we are going to head over to 11 Labs, okay? 11 Labs is the premier voice platform. So Midjourney for images, Runway for video, 11 Labs for voice. Nothing beats 11 Labs, okay? Let's go back to my ChatGPT because it had offered me to write me a VO. So I'm going to say, bro, write me a powerful VO for that. Okay. I'm just taking this as a sample. It says, let's go. It says, go with 3 O's. I think I've trained it a bit too much now. Okay, this is my VO. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this. Okay, I'm just going to copy the VO, come into 11 Labs. No, okay, 11 Labs is a thing on its own, okay, to be very honest. You can create like AI agents, do call agents, all of that kind of stuff. But what I use it 99% of the time is for audio, okay? Now, when I come to 11 Labs, the first thing I go in to do is text to speech. Now here you can clone your own voice. You can do all of these things. So please make sure you explore 11 Labs in detail. What I'm showing you is the function that 99% people use 11 Labs for. I'm going to come here and I'm just going to paste my VO. Okay. Let's just quickly remove those timestamps and all. Okay. Okay. Let's just see what it says. You don't just buy performance, you build it piece by piece, choice by choice, every line, every bolt, crafted not to fit in, but to stand apart. This isn't an SUV, this is instinct with a heartbeat, a force of nature shaped by your will. Grip it, command it, unleash it, power awaits at your fingertips, and your beauty follows your lead. Jaguar F-Pace, built for you, unleashed by you, okay? Now, whose voice do you think will suit best? You see, PK the Great, yeah, that's narcissism to another level. But anyways, let me try my own voice. I have a trained voice here and let's see how my own voice sounds, yeah? And I just come and press generate. I select the voice.
You don't just buy performance, you build it. Piece by piece, choice by choice, every line, every bolt, crafted not to fit in, but to stand apart.
I don't like it. I hate my own voice. Okay, anyways, let's look at some actual voices, okay?
The thing always happens that you really believe in, and the belief in a thing makes it happen.
A single rose can be my garden, a single friend my world.
This said that it would, let's go to professional voices. Let's find a British voice. It said a British voice would be nice for this. Let's find a British gentleman for us to do our voiceover. And the moment you press on this, you can just listen to
The world is round, and the place, which may seem like the end,
Nope.
A man is not old as long as he's seeking something.
Nope.
God has given you one face, and you make...
No, George.
If you smile when no one else is around,
This
you
is
really
mine.
mean it.
George the second is nice. Okay. Okay. So now these are very basic controls. Okay. Speed. How fast do you want the VO to be? You want it to be slower, make the speed slower. Want it to be fast, make it fast. Stability is basically how stable do you want the voice to be across. 50% is usually good. Okay. It's usually the default value. Similarity is how similar do you want the voiceover output to sound like the input voice. Of course, you want it to be similar because the voice you chose, right? So you can play with this if you want. Style exaggeration is nothing but if this is a British guy, then if I exaggerate a style, he's going to sound even more British, which is something you can use it if you want. Depends on what you're using it for, right? Usually, I don't touch these values. These values are fine-tuned by the voice you are choosing, okay? So we're just going to go ahead and press generate. And we should have magic in like...
You don't just buy performance, you build it.
That's
Piece by piece, choice by choice. Every line, every bolt, crafted not to fit in, but to stand apart. This isn't an SUV. This is instinct with a heartbeat, a force of nature shaped by your will. Grip it, command it, unleash it. Power waits at your fingertips, and beauty follows your lead. Jaguar F-Pace. Built by you, unleashed by you.
Yeah. So see, it had all those voice connotations and all of that. Interesting. So anyways, I use this for voiceovers. You can use this for narration. You can create audio books. You can use your own voice into this. You can do telephonic agents using this. It has a world of options. Yeah. So make sure you explore this, like get into it. Like 11 Labs is super crazy. If you have a good voice, you can actually upload your voice here and earn money. Okay. Like you can actually put your voice here and your voice can be a premium voice if you would want for that. If you go to voices, like you'll find a lot of people uploading their voices here. You have collection and you have so many languages. You have Arabic, Bulgarian, Chinese, chess. It just goes on and on and on and on and on. Okay. Probably like every nationality you could probably find. And that particular accent, if you want. You can also convert languages. You can do translations within this. Okay. So it's like super, super good. So make sure you explore this. With that said, I think we are more or less at the end of our session, I would say. Of course, what I've taught you is like the workflow. You can modify this workflow to any project you like, right? Like you can do a plethora of things. And like I said, if you want to do short stories, if you want to do any piece of content, it's just up for you to, just modify that basic prompt about how to create a script. You know how to create the images, you know how to turn the images into video, and finally putting the whole thing together, right? So that more or less is generative AI, like, the basic level of it. And once you master this workflow, see, these AIs will always keep getting better. Today, you're using version 3, tomorrow version 4 will come out, 3 months later, version 5 will come out. But one thing won't change is the underlying process. The apps on top, which sit on top of these processes, will get better, okay? But this process has not changed. When we were doing the Nicobar ad, we were following this process. Today, also 2 years later, we are following the same process, only our apps are getting better. Yeah. So that more or less is the blueprint for you to create any kind of content with AI.
Got it. Perfect. I was missing the chats. The first session was very blazing, and the second one. Folks, quickly, how was the session 2? How was the session 2? And yes, I kept reading a few of them as well, right? Some people are like, I'm not going to do anything with image, or, okay, this is running a bit slow. This requires that attention, and that's why we try to make it a little slower so you are able to grab it. And the initial theory part, the script that we created is what we use to create all of these images, animate them, and put all of the things together. And that's how it normally works. What I'll also do is turn the poll on for this session. 5 is the highest, 1 is the lowest. You can rate it out as you liked it. Today, you may not be doing anything with image and video, folks. In next 2 to 3 months, you'll start transitioning there and you'll see how you're going to make the best use of it and do that, right? You can take about 3 to 4 minutes of break. We'll start taking the questions after that, right? Take some time, absorb whatever came your way, in about next 4 minutes. We'll start the questions and answers, and then we'll jump to the last session for the day. And yeah, perfect. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Okay, there are some chats. Okay, great job. There's a lot to take in advance. I need to sleep on it. Yes, we have 2 more hours to go. Then we'll let you sleep for the day. It's very good. Folks, we'll quickly be back in about 3 to 4 minutes. Priyanka, you can also take about a break since
We were like, okay, in two minds about, okay, like how good is this going to get? Can you guys see my screen? Can you see my screen? Oh?
folks, can we quickly put a yes in the chat if you all want to see it?
This is just a minute long, but so the Jaguar ad you've seen now. Okay, 1 second. The Jaguar ad you've seen now. This is basically just imagine that is generation 4, and this is the same kind of concept but made with generation 5. But underlying the process is the same: script to image, image to video. Yeah. Let me play this for you. Okay. Yeah. Give me a thumbs up if you guys actually like that. So this is Gen 5. This is something that you're going to be seeing in the next, I think, 5 to 6 months. This is going to be like the next gen AI tech. And it's gotten, like, when we looked at generation 4, we thought, oh, this is so good, And now generation 5 is here and we're like scratching our heads.
Yeah. So, folks, that is what we started with, right? When I mentioned in the beginning of the day that whatever we teach you sort of in the next 2 days, today and tomorrow, is not only something that you're going to do just today or for 3 months. The same process that you learned today is used to create the enhanced version as well, right? So the process remains same. That's why theory comes in as well, right? Some
theory is so important.
Sure, please. So some people are saying, yeah, scripting, theek hai, thoda, we could have pushed it. No, that's important, and that's how it does. Perfect, folks. What we can do is you can start putting your questions on the chat. We'll start picking it one by one. Most of these we try to cover it throughout the session, and I was also answering a lot of them as well. For last, tools do you normally?
Okay, when you create different and in kinematics for ads that are hardly like 40 to 50 seconds long. And even to create a 40 to 50-second realistic looking edit is like a task that takes us like a good 3 to 4 weeks, My battle, a lot of the battles that I have on the ground today, when your voices, right? The moment you go to your voices, it takes 2 minutes of audio. 10 seconds of audio, it says, but this is like really bad. Like, I've tried this. Don't try it. It's useless. If you want to do a professional clone of your voice, use a professional clone. Okay. Once you press this, you're going to get a 30-second input of your voice you have to give of you reading something. And it's going to like basically design your voice based on that.
Yeah. And while you are just on that, some people are asking, how do you put everything together? So if you can just show your Final Cut Pro and.
Yeah. So, see, the final process of assembly, what I'm saying is I'm using Premiere. You need to basically use whatever you're comfortable with. Okay, this is something that I've used since my college days. So I think this is just second nature for me to jump into Premiere to do anything. But basically, once all my footage is basically clipped. Okay, sorry, this is different footage. So once all of my footage is basically clipped here, all I need to do is basically put into a timeline and assemble my edit. Yeah. And you can be doing this edit on anything, guys. You can be doing this edit on like iMovie. You can be doing it on Media Player. You can be doing it on like Final Cut Pro. You can be doing it on CapCut. You can be doing it on Instagram. Inside of this sequence, you will do shot number 1 on Midjourney first. Then you will do shot number 2, shot number 3, 4. Then you will say scene 1 is done. Assemble scene 1. Then you go to, Then you go to scene number 2. Okay, then first scene you need to create is this, second image you need to create is this, third image you need to create is this. Why I'm creating with AI is like walking in the dark in a room, and there is one thread you are following. You hold on to that thread, and that thread is your script. Otherwise, it's super easy to get lost. You guys had fun. I hope I could add value, and like I said, the base workflow remains the same. So master this workflow, like, do 1 or 2 projects on it. Even if you don't use it, I'm pretty sure, like, generative AI is going to get to a point